Hello, guys, and welcome back to the Four Quarter Talk podcast with myself, Jack Brazil, and my co-host, Josh Mazoki. Say what's up.
Yo, let's get going.
We're going to recap the bubble regular season games. We're going to give you our play-in tourney predictions, and we're going to end it, as always, with some trivia. Today, we're going to talk a bit more generally. We have less topics, but we're going to try and build upon our points more. So let's get straight into the show.
Everyone should know by now, but hey, I'm going to give you the floor right here.
Some big news today. It made me very happy. I know this is not visual, but I'm repping the T-shirt, the Chicago T-shirt, and we're finally free. Oh my God, we're finally free. If you don't know what I'm talking about,
for you, bro. I'm happy for you.
The Chicago Bulls today took the decision, probably about 6 months too late, but they still did it, to fire head coach Jim Boylen after about a season and a half of mediocrity, to say the least. And for me, it's going to be really refreshing to see a new head coach with a new identity, because there's a lot of talent in this team. I think that's undeniable to see. I think we're up there with one of the best shown cores in the league on paper. But what he was doing with that team was almost criminal. He had moments where he was resting the starters for practice in the fourth quarter, and crazy things like that. That just meant it was time to go.
No calling a timeout when your player gets injured.
Yeah, calling timeouts when your players got open layups. So
I'm not even a Bulls fan, but I mean the pain was rough. The pain was rubbing off on me. Like it was getting a bit
it's
extreme.
Like he was committing crimes against basketball. Like it's honestly just better for every NBA fan to have him out of the league. I'm not sure if he'll ever get a head coach job again, honestly. Who's
the worst coach in the league now? Who's the worst coach in the league now?
Ooh.
I feel like he was in his own category. It wasn't really fair on the others. There were a lot of coaches that would normally be on a hot seat, but because of how trash he was,
that's a good question. I don't know. I don't have an answer for that one. Who would you say?
Say maybe Luke Walton, because
good shout. Yeah,
that situation confused me. I mean, they were overachieving last year and then fired, but that whole Kings franchise is just
messed. Yeah.
So let's not even go into that.
So yeah, I'm very happy with that news today, and it was too late, to be honest. I feel like we might have already lost Zach LaVine. Honestly, I'm not sure if I hope we can convince him to get his head down and play him for the project, but it's just this next appointment is crucial. I don't like to talk about football much on this podcast, but it's a very similar situation to my other team, Arsenal.
When I tell you my boy right here, man, he's been through it this year.
Yeah, I've been through it, man. But it's made me a stronger person.
Both of your situations are looking decent now.
It was a bit too early to say that for the Bulls.
Like any situation that starts with getting rid of Jim Boylen is the right direction.
Yeah, it's a massive positive today, so I'm very happy. But
especially because we kicked off last week talking about how they were thinking of keeping him as well.
Yeah, that's why I think I was happier than I would have been, because I thought he was here to stay for a long time, like a bad smell. But you just I was watching a TV show. I just got the notification, started bouncing about my room. I was so happy. You don't actually understand, bro. So anyway, we're going to get swiftly into our NBA bubble takeaways. I just want to preface this by saying hats off to the NBA yet again. I think the bubble has been absolutely flawless, 10 out of 10 project. I was watching JJ Redick's podcast yesterday with Jason Tatum.
Yeah, he has a great podcast.
And he was saying that the bubble is probably the safest place in America, and he's not wrong, because they've had 0 positive test results so far, which is remarkable. Even Lou Will didn't catch anything in that strip club. And the level of basketball has been crazy. So playoff intensity every night, which is what you want from the NBA.
Been amazing.
So hats off to the NBA. But Josh, do you want to give us your first takeaway from the bubble?
Yeah. My first thing is just the seeding gymnastics that's been going on. So a lot of teams have been really strategic. There's been 2 types of teams in this bubble. Well, 3. There's one where the Wizards, who I don't know why they were in here.
Yeah.
That seems like a waste. Then obviously there's those teams that were battling for that 8th seed towards the bottom, and for them it was a real playoff atmosphere every game, do or die. And then there was the contenders, who it seems like every contender is entering the playoffs less confident than they but very unconfident. And they've seemed to I don't know if they've taken it too seriously or it's a mixture of things. No sense of urgency, things like that with the Lakers and such. And then obviously the Clippers trying to implement players that were away from them for the start.
Yeah.
You've now got the Rockets, who have lost Westbrook for who knows how long.
Yeah.
But with that second tier of the players that were fighting for that 8th seed, or even above that, not really them, but that 3 through 6 matchup. A lot of the teams have been like strategically trying to maneuver about and see where they can get.
You've had and stuff.
You've had the Jazz, who as an OKC fan, that's pissed me off. They've been tanking for probably like 4 of those 8 games, trying to avoid us and the Rockets. But these are the type of things that normally come back to bite you. But I hope the Nuggets sweep them.
I don't think the Nuggets will sweep them. That will actually be a very good series, I think.
It will be a good series.
Jokic.
I'm happy to see.
Jokic is gonna have the Gobert test every night.
Gobert's gonna get exposed as usual.
You think? Yeah, he's
I think he's one of the most overrated defenders I've ever. I feel like he
you did have him
deserved
top 3 the other
one.
week for the Defensive Player of the Year, but you know.
Did I?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I did out of like default pretty much. But,
so if he's there on default, how can he be overrated? That just means if he's there on default, how can he be overrated? That just means he's like
just
class.
Need to watch. Oh yeah, but off reputation. But I feel like he deserved his first Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah.
But I've told you, I've said this already. If you can't defend outside of 3 feet, then I don't see you. If you're elite at one point, but everything else you're a liability. That can't run with me. Like, you don't have to be elite at every single point.
Okay.
But outside of 3 feet, he's kind of done, really. But anyway, that's that. You got me off topic. That ain't even put.
My first takeaway. I wanted to talk about the Western Conference play-in race. I think by far and away that was the best entertainment we got for the whole bubble experience. Like by far.
For the whole year.
Yeah, literally. I mean, it was neck and neck and neck and neck. Pause. Is that a pause?
You're on edge now. You're on edge now.
Yeah, I've got to watch what I say after last week. No, but it was literally up and down. The drama was insane with the Suns going on their 8-0 run, something the Suns probably haven't done since Steve Nash days. But they managed to get behind Devin Booker. They managed to get behind their coach and put together a formidable run. And it just
Devin Booker had his first 5-game winning streak.
Really?
Of his career.
I did not know that.
His career. Yeah.
Wow. What a time to get it. It's a massive shame that they didn't get into that play-in.
So unfortunate.
They must feel gutted right now, but they can be proud of what they've achieved in this bubble. 8-0 is no mean feat. The only team.
But at that point, if you're bringing, why even invite a team to the bubble if they can go undefeated and still not make it?
It's a good
at
point.
That point, like
ratings, bro, ratings. You know why they?
Because what the Grizzlies went 2-6, didn't they? And that's with them pretty much the Bucks forfeiting that last game as well. So yeah, that's unfortunate. But yeah, they've got somewhere to build from now.
I think it's probably got some of the players more invested in that project. Devin, I feel like Devin Booker was maybe losing patience there, but hopefully this is reaffirmed his stance on staying.
Yeah, they've got a few young players standing out.
Hopefully he doesn't listen to Draymond Green.
Yeah, I mean Cameron Payne. I don't know where that came from. But...
Yeah, Cameron Payne stepped up big time.
Yeah, I mean, he's been on both of our teams, hasn't he?
Yeah, and he was trash on both. The best thing he did in the OKC jersey was his dances with
The
Westbrook.
pre-game dances.
And
It hurts. Every time I watch him play, it hurts me.
Why?
Because
Did you have high hopes?
No.
I was gonna say
that year that draft, that was the first year I was really invested into a draft.
Okay.
Because we had because that was following the season that KD was hurt and we got a lottery pick, and we'd been working out Devin Booker for quite a while, and we'd pretty much told him like, we're gonna draft you, and then he got taken a spot before us and we got Cameron Payne. So.
That is hilarious.
Oh yeah,
You literally went from an A+ pick to a F.
Because he wouldn't be what he is now, Devin Booker, with them two. But imagine, like, that's what we never had. We never had that floor spacer.
Yeah, and he would have fit into this new project you got going on like beautifully.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you traded him away, you might have traded him away. I don't know, but and in the Blazers as well. The Blazers, it looks like what Damian Lillard said. He said he's packed for all 3 months, and he's a man of his word, because they were just formidable, and especially Damian Lillard leading the charge every night, setting the standard for all of his players. He's
a man on a mission.
Yeah, literally.
Shout out to CJ McCollum playing through that back fracture. He stepped up.
Yeah, he's had to sacrifice himself for this. He hasn't looked too good. He's been okay. Last night he
had a good game last night.
Yeah, he was good last night.
But yeah, he said that, you know, it's not the best situation, but he'll worry about that in the off season, and you gotta respect that.
The Trailblazers have managed to create a do or die culture over there with Damian Lillard and CJ being so loyal to that franchise, even though they've had opportunities to move away and get bigger markets in free agency, but they've always they want to prove Portland is a big time player in the NBA.
And that front office has been loyal to them as well, because they've had a few opportunities to break it up, especially after that sweep against the Pelicans, and then
really
even
the reset button, weren't they?
Yeah, at some points this season, you have to think that maybe possibly if this bubble didn't happen and they just ended the season, they possibly could have pulled the plug this year, but
but it's going to be interesting to see how they're going to take that next step. I'm not sure what their cap situation is looking like, but
what they have is what they have at this point.
Yeah. So, but they do have a few pieces they can maybe move. Gary Trent Jr.'s trade value would have went up a lot in this.
Rodney Hood,
yeah, he might be surplus.
They don't really need him anymore.
Yeah. Maybe they don't want to go with Nurkic anymore, although he has been very good for them. So it's going to be a big off season for the Portland Trailblazers, and I hope they can do something to make that team more successful, because I would love to see Damian Lillard win a championship. I know it might be a long shot, but I would love to see that. Apologies again for the second week in a row. We've had more technical difficulties. My PC is crap, so it's crashed again, but we'll just keep going on. Just to finish my point about the Blazers, they're on fire right now, and they could be a real problem for the Lakers in the first round if they obviously win the play-in against the Grizzlies. I think all NBA fans are hoping they win the play-in, because no one's really trying to see the Grizzlies.
We're not trying to see that.
No one's trying to see that.
One thing is before we move on, I forgot to say at the start of the pod that all my homies hate the Bucks. Like they fucked everything up.
I have a theory, right? Let me tell you my theory. So obviously Giannis did his little headbutt thing, yeah. And the NBA didn't suspend him straight away. They suspended him the day of the game, right? So I think they want the Grizzlies to get into the playoffs so that the Lakers have a first round matchup. Yeah, that's what I think.
You do realize in a season where they've just lost that much money, like they never rig something to shorten the amount of games. Like they want to lengthen them. Like you get way more money for each game after the fourth seed.
I'm not saying they wanted to shorten the games. I'm just saying they wanted the Lakers to have a short. That's what I'm trying to say. They're trying to make the Lakers have more games in the playoffs, because if they have the
Nah,
Grizzlies,
if
they'll
you
sweep
watch,
them.
if you watch the last few Blazers games, bro, you can see that they wanted the Blazers in because the amount of free throws Dame's been getting
Yeah,
is like ridiculous, bro.
yeah. To be
The
fair.
foul calls on Dame are a bit mad.
Mm. Okay.
But
So let's move into our next takeaway. What you got, Josh?
oh yeah, so whilst we were off our recording, dealing with our issues, Shams, NBA reporter, just reported that the NBA and NBA Players Association are in serious talks about a bubble program for the teams that weren't able to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
I mean, weren't able to make it into this bubble. So it will be in market. It won't be actual games or anything played, but it will just allow them to have practices within their market. So that's a pretty good step towards guaranteeing a season next year, because obviously there's, as great as this bubble is going so far, there's still a lot of uncertainty of how they're going to manage that season, whether how far in the progression, because USA, they're not dealing with the pandemic very well, so it's a lot of
That's an understatement.
uncertainty still going.
Um,
This ain't political out here, so
yeah.
we'll
What
keep
was I
we'll
gonna
leave
say?
it at that.
Is there any date on when those practice camps are gonna start up?
They're eyeing September, so it will
Okay.
be during it. Yeah, so it will coincide with with the actual bubble right now.
Okay. Hopefully we have. What weren't they gonna do like a bubble for teams that didn't make the playoffs?
Yeah, for games, but like you couldn't justify
Are they
that.
only exhibition games?
Oh, it's not even going to be games. It's just going to
Ah,
allow each team
okay.
to stay within their, like, have a bubble
Okay, fair
within their,
enough. I
like,
get
kind
you.
of training facilities.
I hope by the time those practice camps come back around, you've appointed our next head coach. I hope they don't long out
Yeah,
this
you will.
process, but then again, they do have to make the right appointment. So
They said on the original report about, or the second or third one, I
yeah.
saw Woj or Sham say that they're keeping the current assistant manager, like coaching staff, to deal with, like, training camps and things like that until they find a coach.
So what does that mean for Jim Boylen then?
No. Like
Okay.
the assistant coaches, just the assistant
Okay.
coaches.
I
Yeah.
thought Jim Boylen
Yeah, they're like, all right, Jim,
like
you're fired, but
like
stay,
a substitute
stay.
teacher or something.
Yeah,
Like,
keep training these men
fam,
until
you can cut, bro. I wanted to pose a question to you, Josh.
Oh yeah.
Seeing as the Spurs have ended their 23-year playoff run, what next for that franchise? What specifically, what next for DeMar DeRozan?
Oof. Those are two questions that, if I was a Spurs fan, it would bring me a lot of pain, because I see this as pretty bleak for the Spurs, because there was already like rumblings of Coach Pop kind of angling the end of his career around the Olympics and him probably finishing. So that's obviously that's a big part of maybe he has some sort of pride where he doesn't want to go out on this note, and it's such a weird circumstances. But
is it going to get any better? I don't think so.
Yeah, they don't have a lot of prospects. I mean, they lost Kawhi basically for free, because DeRozan's not a long term. He's not long term,
and he hasn't translated into any sort of success at all. So it's like
so
the DeMar project hasn't really.
For me, it's looking pretty bleak. I've heard rumors about LaMarcus Aldridge putting himself out there as wanting to go back to the Blazers.
I heard that as well. I was going to say that.
Yeah, but I'm not sure what they could really get. I mean, they could get Anthony Simons. They could get maybe a couple young players. Yeah, a couple young players, but
not much.
Yeah, the Spurs,
35.
The Spurs as we know it. Yeah, the Spurs as we know it of this franchise. Obviously, they're gonna still have their front office, but Coach Pop was a big part of that, and
he basically is the Spurs, really.
He is the Spurs.
I
they've
think
been on a bit of a decline since
steady
Tim Duncan retired.
Yeah,
but I feel like this is going to be the point that pushes them sharply into a decline.
Yeah, I think this could, if you're a Spurs fan out there, this could be the start of a really rough period.
Yeah,
I guess you've been eased into that rough period because you don't really have. I mean, you got DeJounte Murray, but
but I mean, like superstar potential prospects.
Yeah,
they've got supporting players, but they haven't got that many prospects.
Yeah,
they're gonna get a lottery pick this year, but I don't know. This draft doesn't seem that deep.
Yeah,
they're not a free agency destination. it's looking a bit bleak.
Is
Can't
looking
lie.
a bit bleak for them. Do you have any if DeMar DeRozan was to get traded this offseason,
I don't
where
know
would
where
you
he
like to
fits.
see DeMar DeRozan? Because he's obviously still got a lot to offer. He's still a quality all-star
Yeah.
caliber player.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Yeah. That's the thing as well. They've got two stars that are they don't really fit the current NBA. They're good enough that it doesn't matter, but they're not
Mid-range
good enough for
specialists,
you to
really,
rely
both
on.
of them.
So yeah, and the Spurs kind of went into that. Like Coach Pop has made it clear that he doesn't really like this 3-point shooting era. So a lot of their play has subscribed to that. But yeah, DeRozan, I don't know. I'm trying to think of where he'd fit. It's a bit hard. He needs to be somewhere where he's the second or third best player, or just go somewhere where the Magic would be a good place for him.
Okay.
I think.
Elaborate.
Yeah, because they have enough defense. Like defense is really what's been carrying them into like a playoff caliber team. So they've got defensive players there. So DeRozan won't it'll kind of shield him a bit.
Yeah.
And then they don't have that. They don't really have a scorer like that. I mean, I guess they'd want Aaron Gordon to be that guy, but he hasn't been. He's getting older, but
yeah,
I feel like he'd fit well on that team where they'd
then
still
surely
be.
he'd be the first option over there. And you said,
Oh yeah. I know that has nothing to do with what I was saying before.
Okay.
I just thought about that before.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'd fit well on that team. He'd
What
put up
about the
decent
Grizzlies?
production.
Do you like him on the Grizzlies? I think that'd be an okay fit on the Grizzlies.
That would be a decent fit.
Obviously he doesn't fit into the young ethos, but he could maybe try and impart some wisdom on Jaren Jackson Jr. and what's his name?
Well, if
Morant, obviously.
if they win the play-in, then
yeah,
I guess they can relate to losing to LeBron. But other than that, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, he's a stranger player right now, DeMar DeRozan, because he's, as you said, he's not the typical 2020 NBA basketball player at all. But he's still got lots to offer. So we'll see where he ends up. I'm sure it won't be on the Spurs. Do you have a last takeaway for us, Josh?
It's kind of two things that are basically one. Okay. Recency bias and bubble standouts. So obviously they feed into each other. I'm seeing a lot of, and you're guilty of this, and I wanted to save it for this, but I'm seeing.
I think I know what you're gonna say. Yeah.
I've seen TJ Warren. I've seen people. Yeah. I've seen people generally saying that they thought TJ Warren had surpassed Jimmy Butler. I've seen Dame better than Steph. Not even just now. I've seen Dame better than Steph for the last few years. I've seen, as you said, Clay over Devin Booker over Clay currently, which we can go into that if you want.
Yeah, we can go into that 100%.
We can go into that. But it's a lot of recency bias going on right now, and
I think that's to be suspected because, like,
out of sight, out of mind.
Basketball for the bubble seems so far away that a lot of people may be having trouble remembering like key performances in the regular season, if you know what I mean. So what they see in the bubble is going to be their opinion, pretty much. A lot of that is just major cap. Like TJ Warren is nowhere near the standard of Jimmy Butler.
That's fine. You see, what you're saying, that's fine for casuals. But when you start seeing analysts say that, when you start seeing, people on podcasts say that, then
but you have to. I always say this when someone comes to me with a bad opinion from an analysis, and you have to remember they are media workers who work on TV and radio for entertainment. So their job is to get viewership and clicks. So them saying outlandish stuff is just part and parcel of their job. It's maybe
no. I know the regular, narrative based, outlandish stuff that gets them ratings going. But there's nothing really. There's nothing to gain from saying Devin Booker's better than Clay. Like that's not really gonna catch your head. But But then it's also a testament to how great this bubble's been. Yeah, it's a testament to how good this bubble's been, and that it's been so highly competitive. And if I just started watching basketball, and I was from the bubble, I'd think like Dame was the GOAT. So yeah,
with
so
50
it's been
every night. That's the benchmark for every NBA player now. If you just started watching, you think people drop 50 every night. But yeah, I see what you're saying. And we were having this discussion the other day. Look, the points you said with the other two arguments with TJ and Jimmy Butler and Dame and Steph, I think that's undeniable. I think Jimmy Butler and Steph are both the better players in those scenarios.
Okay, so just before we go into our Clay versus Booker discussion, let's just entertain the Dame Steph one, because I just want to see something there. So
Okay.
just taking the players as individuals without even obviously you can talk about how much of a better shooter Steph is, but nothing about history, nothing about any of that, just as two isolated players, production only right now.
I think if we're talking about production only, then this argument gets a lot tighter. I mean, I think a lot of the debates I saw on Twitter surrounding this topic was a lot of people were using the backup of Steph has won 3 NBA championships, while Damian Lillard has only got to the Western Conference Finals and got swept by Steph. So I think that's a massive plus in Steph's direction.
Yeah.
So me not being able to,
I like to, yeah,
is a big I don't know. It's going to alter my argument a lot, because talent wise, it's so close for me. I mean, if you look at their numbers, they're very similar. I'm just going to read you the numbers from both of their best ever seasons. Points per game, Steph Curry averaged 30.1 points per game in 2016. Damian Lillard 30.0. Rebounds per game, Steph Curry averaged 5.4 in 2016. Damian Lillard's best is 4.9. Steph Curry's best assist is 8.5. Dame's is 8. Steals, Steph Curry's is 2. Dame's is only 1. And blocks doesn't matter. But looking at those stats, it's like they're kind of the same player, almost.
Nah, I feel like if you're doing that, you have to go off one season, as in you have to put his best season versus his best season. Because if you go career,
well, if we're doing
you
that,
have
then
different.
It's clearly.
But listen. But anyway, this whole Steph thing was that wasn't something I really wanted to know, because Steph is a better player. But that just goes to my overall point, which is, if you're comparing two players, if you're comparing players, or if you're doing a list, a ranking, current players like we did in our first, like obviously reputation matters. Yeah. So you can't just say, Luka is a top 3 player or some shit, like just because of one season, and just not include other shit and say, because this season's this season. But at the same time, it does have to be a lot like based on this season, or if there's players that are hurt, then where we last saw them. Yeah, that's why the Steph and Dame
argument is so difficult to talk about, because Dame's had his best season, Steph hasn't played.
But you do have to. That's what I'm saying. If you just exclude that, then it doesn't really work. But you do have to. I feel like you can bring up history a bit, at least recent history. I mean, he swept them last year, so it's not exactly history. If that player is still at that level, but that's why I struggle with the Booker versus Clay thing, is that you can't just completely go based off like you have to respect what Clay's done. Yeah. Like the last time we saw Clay, the last game we saw Clay was that game 6 in the finals, where he was just completely going off, and like you can't tell me that he was going off whilst guarding Kyle Lowry, guarding Kawhi Leonard, and I don't feel like Devin Booker's capable of that type of production at this point. I'm not talking potential. I'm just talking about late 20s Clay versus mid to low 20s Devin Booker. Purely.
Okay, but what I was saying when we were talking about this, I put it to you as in, if I was drafting a team, depending on my scenario, I'd take either one. So if I was a team like the Cleveland Cavaliers, who don't have a leader, don't have a major player that's putting up big numbers, I would take Devin Booker, because if I need someone to carry my offense, I'm taking Devin Booker over Klay Thompson. Yeah. That's just facts.
Here's why I have a problem with that. Okay.
Okay.
If we're ranking players this season,
Yeah.
yeah, right now in the present,
Yeah.
then we have to rank them in terms of what they're going to be able to do for me this season.
Okay.
And if I'm a GM, okay, let's look at it this way. If I'm a GM and been hired to work for a team for 10 years, I'm going to draft a lot differently than if I'm told you have 1 year, you got to win a championship. So I'm not, because if I'm told I got 10 years, I'm not drafting anyone that's like over the age of 25.
Okay, but tell me,
And I'm
right?
going purely on
If you're
potential,
given
maybe a
this,
bit of production.
if you're given the scenario that you have 1 year to win, are you taking Clay over Booker in every scenario?
No, I'm taking Clay over Booker if I'm any team that's in the bubble right now. If I'm any contender in the bubble right now, I'm taking Clay.
That I agree. I totally agree.
That's how I rank in terms of best players, because Trae Young's had a crazy season, but you're not going to see anyone, even though he's a top 10 talent probably, you're not going to see anyone rank him in the top 10.
But saying this is you told us to, when we were talking about Steph and Dame, you told us to just disregard everything and talk about talent head to head, right?
Yeah. No, that was me trying to make a point. That doesn't.
Okay.
No. That was me trying to make a point that doesn't work.
Oh, okay, fair enough. But yeah, I think it is a hard comparison because obviously their teams are polar opposite.
Because if we just say this season right now,
if you want to win a championship, then LeBron wouldn't be Klay Thompson. That is facts. But if we're talking about better basketball player, I might have to go Devin Booker. All around.
Listen, this is my point. Why I think that doesn't work.
Yeah, go on.
So if we just said, this year, who's the better player? Every year, we would just say the MVP. And we haven't been. We've been saying LeBron for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Because we know that that's not what it's all about. And it's not just about history. It's about what we know is going to happen when it gets to the playoffs. If you're you would not take Devin Booker over Clay for a playoff game 7, for a playoff game.
But the thing let's with Devin Booker,
that's what actually matters.
You don't know. He's an unknown. You don't know how he would perform there because he's never been there.
That's what exactly.
But is that his fault?
You're gonna if it's that close, then aren't you gonna give the benefit of the doubt to the player that's proven?
No, but is that his? I don't think that's his fault. I think he's just been put in a bad situation and they've never got better. So I'm not. I feel it feels harsh for me to hold that against Devin Booker because it's not his fault. And you see, he has the tendencies to be a big game player. You know, he's done it. He's done it a few times. Obviously, he's never in the playoffs, but I feel like he could be a clutch time performer in this league. I mean, he has been, but in the playoffs. So I don't know. It does feel very harsh to me to hold that against him in that argument. Okay, so we're going to move swiftly into our second to last topic for today. We're going to preview the play-in game, Portland versus the Memphis Grizzlies. Now, this could have been Portland versus the Suns if
all my homies hate the Bucks, man.
The Bucks didn't sell. And that would have been a classic. The two hottest players in basketball right now facing off for that playoff spot. But unfortunately, we're stuck with the Grizzlies. And how do you think this game will go, Josh?
As for today, I'm not sure because the Grizzlies did, even though the Bucks only had Giannis missing, and it was still a team on pace for 70 wins.
Yeah.
But and quietly, I mean, Ja didn't have the best game, but Ja and Valanciunas both had triple doubles. With Valanciunas having a 26, 19, I can't remember how many assists. I think it was like 12 assists. So they went off, and of course, it was their 8th seed to lose going into this. So they are still going to have that pride, but they're not going to beat the Trailblazers twice. And to be honest, it'll probably end today.
Yeah, I think because they're doing it like the team with the 8th seed has a game advantage, don't they? And it's the first.
Yeah, they have. Yeah, right? Yeah, 9th seed has to win twice.
Yeah. I don't think this one will be prolonged too much. I can't look past a Trailblazers win, seeing as they have the hottest hand in basketball right now.
Dame's on a mission.
As he said, he packed for all 3 months. So I see them dispatching this Grizzlies team. But Do you think this playing format should be something that the NBA keep? Because I really do. I think it adds a lot of drama and entertainment. What do you think?
Yeah, but I'm trying to think because obviously in normal circumstances, every team will have played 82, and I think it's kind of you kind of do have to reward that team that was consistent enough all year to get to that 8 seed and earn that 8 seed.
But they're doing it like so.
I know they're doing how many games with it and all that.
Four games. That's why there's no Eastern Conference playing because 8 seed is clear of the 9th seed. But no,
I do like that. I do like the single elimination for 9th seed and double elimination for 8th seed.
Yeah.
So that kind of
they should definitely have an advantage.
That makes it fairer. 100%. Yeah, that makes it fairer. So but then you have
see if the 8th seed lost to play and how they could see themselves as hard done by, seeing as they kind of deserve to be in that spot.
Yeah, I feel like it was unique circumstances this year.
Yeah.
If it was any other year, I feel like 4 games isn't enough.
Yeah.
I feel like it needs to be a bit tighter. Maybe if it's a tiebreaker or something like that, then there should be a play-in rather than 4 games because especially in the West, every year it's normally quite tight. Every year it's normally like 1 game between like 3rd and 9th most years. So yeah, I feel like they need to tighten it up. Obviously, it was a bubble, so you had to justify it and give an incentive to teams to come that weren't in the playoffs already. But then that didn't help out with the Suns, who went undefeated and weren't really rewarded. But I like it. It adds more excitement to a part of the season that's normally a bit boring and normally people are just wanting to get straight to the playoffs. But yeah, I feel like they'd have to adjust the format slightly. But I like the idea. And I like that Adam Silver every year is coming up with something. Yeah. Like with the All-Star game and everything, really.
Yes, these new features he's put in, they've mostly all been successful. So he's doing a great job. Let's move into the trivia round then. Finish this up. It's been one hell of a podcast, and I mean that literally. So Josh, you have some trivia for me, I assume.
Yes, I do. So this year, this week and this bubble has been highlighted by a lot of explosive performances, particularly from who we probably have as our bubble MVP, Damian Lillard, who made history as the second player to score 60 plus in 3 games in 1 season. So in that theme, the trivia I'm going to give you, it won't be 20. I will give you the number of people, but you've got to give me every player in NBA history. In fact, no, I made it. I didn't want to be too hard on you and give you every player. So I've made it since the 90s, every player that scored 60 plus.
Wait, that is mad.
I made it the 90s because most of the players are from the 90s onward are pretty. There'll be players you should be able to get.
Okay.
You might have to dig deep a little bit, but I could have made it harder.
Give me the amount of players that there is.
Yeah. 16 players.
16 players. Okay. Cool. Damian Lillard.
And I've got the list here, and I'll just check them off.
Damian Lillard.
So you keep count of when you've got 16 and you're comfortable. So I won't tell you at the time. All right. So Damian Lillard. All right.
Devin Booker. LeBron James. I'm just gonna go with Michael Jordan, obviously.
Go ahead.
Shaq. Kobe. T-Mac. AI. I know Kyrie doesn't have a 60-point game. I don't think KD doesn't have a 60-point game either. That's Klay Thompson. So I'm on 9.
Let me count how many you've said so far. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 9. 9.
Okay. There's going to be some random players in there.
There is one that you're just definitely not going to get.
I'm thinking Brandon Jennings, but I think that was a 50-point game. I know he scored like some mad amount of points in one of his first NBA games. But I think that was a 50-point game. I don't think that was a 60-point game. Okay, seven more. I want to say Dwayne Wade, but I don't at the same time. Does Steph have a 60-point game?
Think of prolific scorers, bro. You'll miss. I'll give
James
you.
Harden.
Yeah, I'll give you my hint. My hint was gonna be that there's two more current players, but now there's one more current. Oh, actually no, there's still two more current players.
Okay, James Harden. Does Westbrook have a 60-point game, man?
It's hard because there's so many. I was gonna make it 55 plus.
Players that could have 60.
I was gonna make it 55 plus, but I was like, nah, stick to a hard 60.
Yeah.
Because there are some that have 58, 57. Yeah.
Giannis doesn't have a 60-point game. 60 points. That is a lot of damn points. So you said there's two more current NBA players that I'm missing, yeah?
Yep.
Oh, do you know what I'm gonna say? It might be a left field shout, but I want to go Jamal Crawford. I feel like one night he just torched it, so I'm gonna say Jamal Crawford.
Okay.
Jamal Crawford. Let me think of some past NBA players now. Oh, David Robinson definitely has a 6-point game because he scored 70. I know that. That's 12. 4 more. Can you take me through the names I've said if you've wrote them down?
You said Shaq,
Yep.
AI,
Yep.
LeBron,
Yep.
Harden,
Yep.
Dame,
Yep.
T-Mac, MJ, Devin Booker, David Robinson, Kobe, Jamal Crawford. Did you say another current player? Did you say no, you didn't go Giannis. Yeah, that's what you said.
Did you say Clay?
Oh, sorry, yeah, you said Clay as well. Yeah.
That's 12, yeah. All right, same. So there should be one more current player if I got Jamal Crawford right.
If you got him right, yeah.
Yeah. I think it's Westbrook. I'm gonna kick myself, man. All right, I'll go Westbrook.
Okay.
So then that means by logic there should be 3 retired players. Did Tim Duncan ever score 60? There's gonna be some hard ones here, I know.
Did you just say that Tim Duncan never scored 60?
I don't know, man. Those hook shots.
To be fair, I said
Kevin Garnett won a scoring title.
Kevin Garnett won a scoring title, so I've got nothing to
since 1990. Oh, Gilbert Arenas? I'm going to say Gilbert Arenas.
Okay. All right.
Dirk didn't score 60. No way Dirk scored 60. But I'm going to say him anyway. Dirk. And lastly, I've got one name in my head that is not going away. It's Vince Carter, but I know he didn't score 60 points. So
you're not going to get 15. You're not going to get 16, by the way.
But the last guy.
You're doing well. You're doing well, but there is one guy that I had to include simply because I picked 1990s, but you're not going to get him.
I'm just going to say...
But I'll give you one more hint. I'll give you a hint. One of these people is in the top 10 of scoring. Top 10 in scoring all time. Yeah.
Okay. That doesn't really help me.
I could narrow it down more, but I don't want to. That'd be too easy. I mean, that's kind of a second hint in itself. Dwayne
Wade. That's what I'm gonna say. So I said 16. Give me the bad news, mate. Give me the bad news. I know I haven't done great.
All right, so let me just confirm with you, okay?
Yeah.
So you said Kobe, David Robinson, Devin Booker, MJ, T-Mac, Dame, Harden, Bron, Clay, Gilbert Arenas, Allen Iverson, Shaq, Westbrook, Jamal Crawford, Dirk, and Dwayne Wade.
Yeah.
You happy with that?
Yeah.
All right. So Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you got 12.
Okay,
Um,
not bad.
so that's decent.
It's not bad.
Westbrook, Jamal Crawford, Dirk,
Yeah,
and Dwayne Wade have not scored 60.
yeah. Those are the ones I knew hadn't scored it as well. Fam.
Yeah.
But
One of the players, the player I knew you wouldn't get and I wouldn't get and no one would get unless they watched the game was Tom Chambers, which was literally
yeah,
I don't know who that is. It was in 1990, so yeah, I had to include that. The hint I was giving you about the top 10 scorer is Karl Malone.
yeah, but fuck Carmelo.
Yeah, fuck Karl Malone.
Yeah, I don't want to say him.
Malone.
I knew it, but I didn't want to say
The two current players that you weren't able to get were Melo
fuck. Yeah.
and Kemba Walker.
I wouldn't have got Kemba Walker.
I think Kemba's was last season or the season before.
Yeah.
But
Melo,
so those are the ones you missed. But you got everything else. So
yeah,
no, you did good.
I feel like the ones I said were kind of obvious. I mean, there's a few in there that might have tripped people. Like KD, you think KD has a 6-point game. You probably think Steph has a 6-point game.
We're narrowing it down because obviously we've gone with like a 20 format, and I wanted to do to be fair, I could have done top 20 scoring performances of all time, or I wanted to do 50, but 50 had like 50, there was at least like 50 players that scored 50, so it would have just been too much.
The one I'm proud that I got,
and it
came out of nowhere. But
yeah. That was really good.
Because
I knew about that game.
I just knew he had a flame for it. Like he could just heat up like anything.
But there is a few players that he was called Hibachi. So, but there was a few players that you could guess. To be fair, so that was good.
So
12 out of
16. We'll see.
That's not bad at all.
We'll see how you get on. We might have to
brought down your percentage a little bit.
Yeah, I was gonna say we might have to do it by percentage.
Yeah, we're doing percentages now. Yeah, we'll do percentages now.
Right. So I'll hit you with something next week. That's been all for today's podcast. It's been one hell of a journey, believe you me. But we're here, and thank you everyone for listening. The support is.
We put in work for this one. If you made it here, love.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
I've got one hell of an edit on my hands right now, so I'm gonna go do that. But thank you everyone again for listening, and we'll be back sometime next week.